Hi guys, I'm so excited to be here with you today. My name is Stephanie. I'm a behavior analyst and I've been an educator for about 15 years now. I've tutored families. I've tutored so many families in those 15 years. I've had famous families in LA, underprivileged families. I even teach ESL online to kids in China that live in China online. It's amazing. And to be honest, through these 15 years, I've seen most, if not all, the families I've worked with struggle on one big topic: study habits. Oh my gosh, it's the killer for pretty much everyone. So I'm here today to give you my top 3 tips to reboot your child's study time and skyrocket effectiveness. Are you ready? Here we go. So tip 1 is be realistic with the expectations that you're placing on them. If your kiddo has never successfully sat down for a solid hour of work, don't set them a goal for them to work for 2 hours. It's not realistic and it's not fair to them. You're setting them up to fail, to not reach your goal, and you're setting yourself up for frustration, for unhappiness, maybe for some yelling. It's a bad situation. So just depends on where your child is at the time. Of course, that will also depend on their age. Younger kids can't stay focused for as long as teenagers and high school kids and college kids can. So make sure to set goals and expectations that are appropriate for their age level, for their experience, right? If you've never expected them to sit for 2 hours to do a specific assignment, then why would you expect it of them now? So the key is, wherever they're currently at, set a goal a little bit above that. So if right now all your kid can really manage is 15 minutes of solid focus, and then in the 16th minute they start a video game or some kid from class, then right now 15 minutes is all that they can do. So set the goal for 20, maybe 30 if they're an older child and can handle that. But the key is, don't say, you know what, Timmy, enough is enough. You need to start taking your schooling seriously. You can't get up from this table until you finish all your homework. What? Where did that even come from? Why? No. If right now 15 is all that they can manage, go a little above that. And that's how you shape behavior. You go a little bit at a time. You don't expect the world of someone overnight without even, hey, by the way, the rules have changed. That's no fun for anybody. Tip number 2, as a matter of fact, tip number 2 is to schedule in breaks. Now, I know that sounds counterintuitive because breaks are literally the opposite of study time. But hear me out, okay? The key is to take strategically timed breaks. Now, there's plenty of research out there that shows you should take breaks, and it's good for you, and it helps you refocus and regroup. Sometimes you're able to approach a problem probably. Go take a few minutes, you regroup. Sometimes you come back and you don't even know why you were struggling to begin with. It just kind of all fits, right? It's kind of like those shower ideas, right? You're in the shower and this amazing idea comes to you. That's because you were relaxed, you were able to regroup, you weren't forcing yourself at this desk to accomplish this thing, and it just sort of comes to you. So the key is to take strategically timed breaks. What do I mean by that? What I mean is, for example, I'm sure you've heard of the Pomodoro technique, right? Those cute little tomato timers. So the Pomodoro technique is around taking breaks, and you take them fairly often. Of course, you can tailor this to your own needs and to your child's needs, but the Pomodoro technique says you should work focused, hardcore work for 25 minutes, and you get a 5-minute break. So those of you that struggle with math, that's a half hour, right? So the Pomodoro technique says you can do that up to 4 times, counts up to 2 hours, right? So half an hour is the first hour, and then the second set, and then after 4 rounds and 5, you have to take a 15 to 30-minute break. And so the science says, if you really focus for 25 minutes, then you've been productive, but you don't want to burn yourself out either. So the key is work hard, you play hard. You work hard, you play hard. Okay? It's not so like absurd either. 5-minute break, you can give your kid a 5-minute break, right? You can go eat a cheesesteak, go use the restroom, go drink some water. But the key is during the 25 minutes, they have to really be focused. They keep looking around, chewing on their pencils, distracted, as they often are. And it's understandable because they're children, right? Being able to focus and be productive and get stuff done, it comes a little bit with maturity, right? So you can't expect the world of your child. That's tip number 2, is take breaks, and take breaks often, but strategically. That's the key. And tip number 3, related to tip number 2, because in order to really maximize on these breaks that you're taking without hindering study time, the key is to do not complete tasks during that break. Okay, do not complete, especially not work-related tasks, but don't complete something very, very different either. So why do I say this? The problem with completing tasks during break time is that it takes the brain time to adjust between tasks. So if those tasks rely on higher cognitive functioning, it takes even longer. Okay, so if your kiddo is doing some math homework and for break, I don't know. I don't know what a kid would do during break. I'm trying to think. If they take a break from math homework to practice their vocabulary flashcards. Of course, this isn't their choice. This is you saying, okay, take a break from math. Let's do this instead. Then those are both higher level cognitive activities, right? One is mathematical equations, and the other one is drawing on memory recall, long-term memory, short-term memory. These are very higher level cognitive tasks that are kind of expecting their brain to just juggle in between. And don't get me wrong, I've seen parents do this, and at different times I've done it myself with myself as a student and also with my students. And as I grow, as I learn, and again, so I've learned a lot of lessons and made mistakes along the way. But you're setting the kid up to have a difficult time, right? Doing really difficult math, maybe it's not difficult to you, right? But the stage that they're in their education, it's hard for them, right? So they're having to juggle between math that is hard for them and vocabulary words that are hard for them. So no, the key with breaks is they have to be unrelated, no functioning tasks required of them. This phenomenon, if you're interested and a little geeky like me, it's actually called cognitive switching. And it's the reason also, even for you parents and your busy selves, it's the reason you're less productive when you multitask. it takes the brain time to shift between tasks, right? So you do this one thing, then, okay, a break, and you do this other thing. But it takes time for the brain to adjust from this task to that one, minutes, and then you have to shift back. So imagine all this time that's time of productivity, right? In between all these shifts. And it's not that you're not accomplishing the thing you want to do, right? Maybe you did successfully send that email, but it's going to affect the productivity and the efficiency of your thoughts each time you switch back and forth. That's why, it's kind of in right now, but it scientifically, right, psychologically, it's always been there. But now it's in to do time batching. I'm sure you've heard of this term, right? It's where you batch, like Mondays, I'm all about sending emails, or that's an ungodly amount of emails. But for example, Monday before lunch, all emails. It's all I do. Monday after lunch, I do Facebook Lives, right? Tuesdays, it's all about client phone calls, right? These are just examples. So your brain is able to stay in a specific zone. So you might need to shift a little bit, right? Each email is going to be different, but you're still in the mindset of maybe customer service, interpersonal skills, right? You're sending an email to someone's going to receive it and read it. Typing, all of these are skills that you don't really stop to, but they're important, and they on your brain and your functioning level. So time matching helps prevent and offset context switching. You have to do switching. In the scenario I described, is all for having to switch. You're not switching between client phone calls and, I don't know, editing videos for your YouTube channel. Who does that? No, your YouTube channel video is only for that, and that's where your mind goes, and you stay focused, right? So it's the same for your children. If you give them a break, don't be a jerk parent and fill the break with another task. That's terrible. So do me a favor, do yourself a favor, do your kiddo a favor, and let their break be a really good break, really solid break. And actually, if you want to really, really boost the value of this break for your kid, both mentally speaking and physically speaking, then ideally, the way to spend this break away from their desk. Let them stand up, let them stretch out, maybe they can walk around. If it's their 15-minute break or their half-hour break, and your kids a little exercise, get their eyes away from these computer screens and phone screens. There's tons of studies on that. I won't even go into that, but physically healthy too. It's not just academically, but that if you want to really, really boost and skyrocket their effectiveness and efficiency and learning positivity, let them fill those breaks with some physical movement. You can grab a snack. They can drink some water. Listen, I'm always the one having water over here. I practice what I preach. So, your kid will be in a much better place to learn, to process, to engage in higher level critical thinking, and they'll also get their stretches in. So they're not just stuck in that chair at that desk all day long. They'll thank you for it. Don't go crazy now. They might not actually thank you for it because they're your kids and they're not going to want to thank you for it. But in their mind, and when they're older, they'll thank you for it. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 3 tips to really skyrocket your kids' effectiveness when they're studying and really improve their study habits. So let's go over it. All right. Tip number 1, don't expect more than they can give. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to them. Probably just end up in a firefight. Tip number 2, let them take breaks. Take breaks. And tip number 3, take breaks that are good for your brain and your body. Or not you, your kids, right? Let them take breaks that are good for their bodies. And do some stretches with them. It'll help you too. It's not like it'll hurt, right? Especially as we get older, you have some of those aches and pains. So do some stretches with your kid. Maybe you take a walk around the block with your kid. They'll come back refreshed, and they'll be way more productive and better off for it. All right. I really hope these tips were useful to you. If you like this training and you want to see more, be sure to join my Facebook group. I'll be doing these live videos fairly often. I don't quite have a schedule yet. This is my first here, but I'd love to hear from you. Join my group. Let me know what kind of videos you want, what you struggle with when it comes to your kids' learning. And of course, if you'd like to know more about how you can help your kiddo, I would absolutely love to chat with you. I love chatting with parents that are struggling. They try their best, and I know you try your best. And you all do. Every parent I talk to and all these families I work with, parents are trying their best. Most of the time the kid is trying their best too, and they just don't know how to next level. So I'd love to chat with you, hear where you're struggling, hear where your kid is struggling, and just talk more about how I can help you and your family out. So anyway, thank you for your time. I really hope this was helpful, and see you next time. Bye.